Yeah, now we're live. Hello, everyone. Okay, while we're waiting for everyone to come here and listen to us and watch us today, but hello again, Lincoln and Justine. Justine,
Hi.
how's the Philippines right now?
Oh, it's very humid.
Hi, it's
So
humid.
very humid. It's raining at night, then very hot in the afternoon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually here, Lincoln, in British Columbia. I don't know if
Mhm.
you've been here in. Do you know Vancouver Island?
I have not been to Vancouver Island. I've been to Vancouver, but I hear it's
Yeah.
very beautiful on the island.
Yes, so we had like a little bit of typhoon last night.
Oh,
I'm living here in a remote area in Vancouver Island, so North Vancouver Island,
nice.
and now Lincoln is in Halifax. Is it like exactly in Halifax or somewhere in Dartmouth?
Yeah, I'm at my house right now, which is in Halifax. Yeah, and just about a 10-minute drive from the Mount Saint Vincent University campus. So yeah, and it's
Wow.
fall now here, so the
Oh
it
yeah,
is definitely getting cooler.
and
And
it's gonna.
if you can hear, I'm just getting over a cold. So I
Oh yeah.
apologize if I sneeze a few times during the presentation because it's that season, right? When it starts getting colder,
True.
everyone gets sick. So I unfortunately have been dealing with that, but it hasn't been too bad.
Yes, and also like September, October, between September, October, that's like the best for me, like the season for the East Coast. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it
That's
is
what I
very
miss.
beautiful for sure. The leaves changing
Oh
and
yeah.
honestly, the cool air is welcomed because the summer does get pretty hot. It gets humid here as well, and it's nice to be able to just go out and maybe with a light jacket and just feel comfortable. That's pretty nice. So
Yeah.
enjoy this time of year for sure.
Yeah, that's what I miss about the East Coast, like how beautiful the fall like season is.
Yeah.
Not like here in BC. I mean, like some part of it, but it's not like as crazy as the
Mhm.
East Coast, like Ontario, like Quebec. The leaves are like just beautiful,
Yeah.
right? Wow, you guys are here already. There is. Can you please comment below, guys, your country? I'm pretty sure they're like watching from different countries. Lincoln, they're from the Philippines. They're like some from Ghana, Kenya. They're like some India. Oh, there's one from Indonesia,
It's awesome.
right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
And
That's
then
great.
there's one from Egypt. So,
Egypt, cool.
guys, yeah, so we have Mount Saint Vincent University today, and you guys gonna learn about this school, the like in general Nova Scotia opportunities after graduation and the programs that they can offer for our international students, and Lincoln will help us understand and set the expectation before going there. Am I right, Lincoln?
That's right. Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, Lincoln, I think I don't know if you have the presentation now.
Yep. All set. So I'll get that
Mhm.
started. I'll share my screen.
Yep.
Let me
And
know.
while Lincoln is doing that, guys, comment your country, your where you guys from, so that we know. And then along the way, if you have any questions, just comment, and then we'll be able to answer that. But here we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so because I'm just using my laptop at home,
Mhm.
I don't have two screens, so I can't see myself and I can't see the questions. So
Yes.
maybe I'll go through the presentation first, and
Mm,
then we'll take the questions afterwards, so I can just
mm,
focus on answering those the
mm,
best that I can.
mm.
But yeah, let's get started. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. So happy that you've taken time out of your day for this presentation. I really appreciate it. My name is Lincoln Smith. I'm one of the international student recruitment officers at Mount Saint Vincent University. I am an alumni of the university. I graduated in 2020 from the Bachelor of Public Relations program.
Mm-hmm.
And I really loved my experience at Mount Saint Vincent. So when the opportunity came up to promote the institution to others, I thought that was just a perfect role for me, because I really want to share not only what makes Mount Saint Vincent such a great university, but as well Halifax, the city of Halifax, the country of Canada, I think is a fantastic place to live. So I'll share some information today with you about the institution, our university, but about where we're located as well. So thanks again so much, and we'll get started. I realize that you all have a lot of options for post-secondary across the world, really, in your own countries, but as well as many others. So what I'd like to first touch on is just what makes Mount Saint Vincent University different from all of the other options, not only in Canada, but across the world. And one thing that we're really proud of is our tight-knit community type of experience that we try to offer for our students. So we're a fairly small university. We have just over 4,000 students. About 900 or so are international students coming from over 70 different countries. But our average first-year class size is 24 students. That's among the smallest in Canada for any post-secondary institution. So what that allows is for you to really get to know your classmates, really get to know your professors. It's a much more personalized learning environment. I know that at many universities, there can be upwards of like 200 students or more in class with you. And personally, that's something that I never would want to do, because I just feel like that would be so overwhelming. You don't get a chance to talk to the professors. If they even know your name, that would be pretty extraordinary. Booking time to talk with them can be a challenge. Times you can't in a larger institution. You only get to meet with like a teaching assistant, or maybe you have to book an appointment with the professor like weeks in advance. At Mount Saint Vincent, you get to engage with them every single day. They will definitely know your name. They're going to get to know you, if your facial expressions signals that you're not understanding the content.
They're going to call you out. Hey.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. Like I've seen that where they say, student, whoever, like, are you not picking this up? I'm kind of getting that vibe from you. So that's a really unique type of learning environment. But just the campus itself, we really try to foster a sense of community, a sense of belonging, regardless of where you come from, what your religion is, or what you're into in your personal life. You're welcome on our campus. You're free to be who you want to be. And that's really celebrated. And, I think that just is something that makes us so unique and such a great place, especially for international students to come.
Yeah.
To feel welcome.
You don't want to be in a school where there's just a lot, I think there's one institution with 20,000. It's not even a university.
Yeah, it's like a small city at that point. Yeah. No, for sure. I think, when you, as an international student, are moving to a new country, that can definitely be overwhelming. We understand that. And, to go to a place where you're just overwhelmed with so many people and so many things going on, I think that could definitely be challenging. So coming to a bit smaller of an environment where there are people who are looking out for you. We have an international education center who meet with all students, and are willing to support students with whatever they need, whether it's immigration or, help with their classes or answering personal questions. They really care about the students. I work really closely with that team, and it's amazing to see just how much they actually really care about the students and know them and understand, what they're going through. It's something that I don't think you're going to find at a lot of institutions.
Yeah.
Makes
I
us
totally
really
agree.
the other two on the slide here, like cutting edge research opportunities, work experience. I'll get into that a little bit more later in the presentation, but not only are you going to be supported personally, but academically as well. So we realize that a couple things that are so important in being able to find employment after you graduate, which is why most people are going to university. Work experience is so key. So we offer in every single program, whether you're in arts or science or professional studies, you'll have the opportunity to get some hands-on experience, which I'll get into more detail in a bit. And then the research as well. Like we've got, some professors that have been recognized for some pretty cutting edge research in aging, early childhood development, different psychology subjects. And students are going to have the chance to engage in that research with them right away, actually, as well. Like from first and second year, you're going to be able to be involved with that. Again, that's something that's unique compared to going to a larger institution where you have to at least be a graduate student to have a chance to, be involved in research, where our undergraduate students have the opportunity to take part in it. So again, that's a benefit from being a smaller institution. You get bigger opportunities. Yeah. So a little bit about Halifax. I don't know how many of you are aware of Halifax or heard of it. I wouldn't blame you if you hadn't. Traditionally
Lincoln, I remember 2018 when I chose Nova Scotia, and then a lot of like the people that I was like, like they're also processing their papers going to Canada as a student, and they're all going to Ontario. And then they asked me,
Yeah.
"Oh, so where are you going?" I said, "Nova Scotia." Where is Nova Scotia? And that was 2018. So hopefully they know Nova Scotia by now.
Yeah,
Right?
well, it has become a much more popular destination for not only people internationally, but people from all across Canada have been moving to Nova Scotia, and in
True.
particular the city of Halifax as well. A major reason for that is it's just absolutely beautiful. We're surrounded by the ocean.
Yes.
A lot of access to nature, lakes, so many outdoor activities that you can access fairly easily from the city. But we offer all the city amenities as well. So we've got, tons of different food options from all over the world, grocery stores, where you can find Filipino products or Thai products or, African products or American. So wherever you're coming from, chances are you're going to be able to find like some of those comforts of home, and also people, from your community as well. Like we have established communities here from all over the world. But it's also definitely offers a lower cost of living compared certainly to Ontario and BC. Those are the, two most popular provinces, but with that comes a much higher cost of living. So full disclosure, Canada is not a cheap place to live, regardless of where you go. Housing can be quite expensive. It's not cheap, but Halifax and Nova Scotia in general offer a lower cost of living, certainly compared to Ontario and British Columbia. The city of Halifax, in my opinion, has everything that like the city of Toronto or Vancouver would offer, just maybe not as many options for it, but we have it. But in just a smaller package, way more accessible. If you're living in the city, you can walk pretty much anywhere. You really don't need a car. You can grab the bus. It's a short trip. And it's really exciting to be a student because we have a lot of students living in the city. So a lot of stuff geared towards students. Just this past few weeks, there's been 2 music festivals that have happened. There's all kinds of things going on the waterfront all the time. whatever you're into, yoga, acting.
You guys have IKEA too.
Yeah, we do have yes, which is great for if you are trying to furnish an apartment.
Yeah.
That's probably the cheapest option for you, but it's nice stuff. I put a lot of IKEA stuff in my place.
I don't know if like Moncton, or I don't think PI, right? I don't
No.
know if Moncton has IKEA. I feel like Halifax is like the center of all the Atlantic provinces, right?
For sure, yeah. We're by far the biggest city in the Atlantic provinces. We're closer actually to 500,000 people now, because we're just growing so quickly. I love this picture on this slide of the downtown, but if you were actually to look at it now, you'd probably see like 10 or 15 cranes spread around. Yeah. We're just growing so rapidly. And yes, certainly we are the economic center of the Atlantic provinces. True. So the most opportunities for work, the most opportunities for, meeting people and engaging in activities and things like that.
Yeah.
It's definitely a spot.
And to add in, Linka, I remember when I was in Nova Scotia, if you guys love to travel, like if you're from Europe, it's cheaper to fly from Atlantic to Europe. Like,
yeah.
Like compared to someone like me living here in BC, oh, it's way expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually, I should have had the slide in here that showed where we are on the map, because it is quicker to fly to Europe than it is to Western Canada. We're also really close to New York City, about a 2-hour flight to New York, 2-hour flight to Toronto. So if you want to go check out Toronto, you can totally still do that for a weekend. If you book flights, a little bit ahead of time, they can be fairly affordable. So I like to go up to Toronto or Montreal for weekends to hang out and maybe
drive. You can drive, right?
Yeah, you could. It would take a while. But yes, you can drive. It would be pretty long drive, but it's possible. You can definitely drive into the States. I've done that before, and that's a really nice drive. So we're really accessible. I mean, we have an international airport. There's flights to Europe. There's flights to the US. You're not cut off from the rest of the world at all. There's direct flights to a bunch of European destinations and US destinations as well. So, yeah. Our campus, Mount Saint Vincent campus, is located just about a 7-minute drive or a 20-minute bus outside of downtown. I want to actually go to the next slide, because this shows a really awesome photo of our campus and kind of how.
So you guys are really right next to the waterfront, like close.
Yeah, the view on our campus, you can't really tell in this photo, but we're actually built kind of up a hill. So when you're on the campus, especially up towards like where Westwood and the Birches, or even Everest Hall here, the big building that you see that's like in the shape of an E. When you're in that building, you can see the water. It is a really nice view. And we're just surrounded by trees and green space. So even though we're right in the city, it can feel like you're like kind of in the middle of nature or in a small town when you're on the campus. It's super quiet, peaceful, really nice. But then there's a bus right out front that will take you to shopping centers, grocery stores within like 10 minutes, and downtown probably about 20 minutes. And once you're downtown, like I said, everything's walkable. You can walk from one end to the other in, an hour, but like the actual downtown, probably within like 20 minutes, you're going to get from point A to point B, wherever you want to go. So really nice, really walkable. You get a bus pass included in your tuition. So you can ride the bus as much as you want. And it's a really nice campus. I really like it. I love this photo. They did a great job with it.
The drone shot.
It's great. And we do offer rooms on campus. So of course, students are welcome to find their own accommodation, but we definitely recommend, at least for your first year, living in our residence, because it actually works out to be quite affordable. You get a single room. You don't share with anyone, which is another positive about our, smaller kind of vibe, because a lot of times when you go to a bigger university, you're going to end up sharing a dorm room with someone.
Oh.
It can be a really small space. Like there's no privacy. They sleep like just a few feet away from you sometimes. Like,
But
I don't know, I couldn't do it. I just,
how much, Lincoln? How much is the rate like right now?
yeah,
And
it's $11,000 per year. I'll go over the like cost of tuition and everything
oh, that will be mentioned there.
later.
Okay.
Yeah, but basically it works out to being about $1,300 per month for your room
Mm-mm.
and for all of your food. So when you
Oh, including the food?
yeah, when you pay for your
Oh.
room, you get an all-you-care-to-eat meal plan. So you can visit our dining hall as much as you want. You can eat 10 times a day if you want.
That
And
would be nice.
it's awesome. The food is really good. Like I actually try to keep myself from going every day because I eat so much when I go.
I'm definitely gonna gain weight there.
Yeah, you gotta be careful because it's buffet style, so you can eat as much as you want. And like always have a few different main dishes that change every
Mm-mm.
day. So like sometimes it'll be banh mi or it'll be butter chicken or
Yeah,
tacos
it's good
or
for students who don't have the time to cook.
yeah,
You
absolutely.
know?
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
got a lot going on. You got class, maybe you work a part-time job, you want to hang out with your friends. Like, who wants to cook? I mean, the food is really good, it's healthy. There's tons of different options. There's always like desserts as well. There's an ice cream bar. Like, it's awesome, and it changes every day. The menu changes, so you won't get bored of it, which I think is really great. So never have to worry about cooking. The campus is pretty small too. Like from one end to the other is like 10 minutes. So if you're staying on campus, you roll out of bed, throw some clothes on, brush your teeth, and grab your bag, and
Yeah.
you can be in class in like 10 minutes. And then go grab lunch with your friends and hit up the
And go
library,
back to sleep.
fitness
And
center.
go back to sleep. I
Yeah, go back
mean,
to sleep. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do.
you can like find also like since it's like in the center, right? It's easy to get like if you want to get a part-time job. I feel like
Yeah.
it's going to be easier for you,
Sure,
right?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, the campus is really accessible. Like, very main bus routes go right past it into the city. So,
Mm-mm.
like, you probably would never have to take more than one bus, maybe a transfer
Yeah.
in, but yeah, its location is quite central. So,
Yeah.
access pretty much everything. We have on-campus job opportunities as well. So that's something that we're proud to offer. You can work up to 12 hours a week on campus for $18 an hour, which is a pretty solid salary, 18 Canadian
Mm-mm.
dollars an hour. Um,
Mm-mm.
there's no limit on that. So, like, what I mean by that is you can work 12 hours on campus and then you can also work off campus for 24 hours a week, is what the Canadian government has recently allowed international students to work. But with
Yeah.
the 24 hours off campus and the 12 hours on, you're getting pretty close to what we consider full time work, which is 40 hours a week. But definitely, you want to be careful with how much you're working because you're studying, right? And there's going to be a
Yeah.
lot of work to do as well. But definitely the options to work are there.
Mm-mm.
So keep that in mind for sure. Our campus is all connected too. This is another great thing, I think, especially for international students that are coming from warm climates, because it does get cold in Canada for sure. There will be snow. But fortunately, our campus is completely connected by underground or covered pathways. So you don't have to go outside if you don't want to. So when the weather's bad, you can get from one end of the campus to the other completely indoors. So you don't have to worry about being cold or getting in the snow. So that's cool.
Oh, it's
Definitely.
part of life,
Yeah.
snow in Canada. You're
You'll
gonna
get
get used to it.
Yep, you got to, because you can't hide inside forever. You can definitely go from your classes to your
Yes.
room and to the gym and whatever, but like you're gonna want to go out eventually. So
Yeah, and you're gonna survive. It's just like few months,
yeah,
but yeah, like
jacket and you'll be okay. It's kind of fun,
mhm.
honestly, and the snow is really pretty actually around the campus when all the trees are covered with snow. It's really nice actually.
Yeah.
You'll get used to it, I promise. We have some great sports teams that people or students can be involved with as well. We have, if you're not like super competitive, you just want to do it for fun, you can absolutely do that. I mentioned we have a fitness center on campus. We have over 100 clubs and societies as well. So chances are, whatever your interest is, we have a club for it. We've got like chess club or history clubs, dance classes, all kinds of stuff like that. But if there's something that you want to do and that you think would be a really fun club, but we don't have it, you can start one. We absolutely encourage students to do that. We'll give
Do
you.
you,
Go ahead.
Lincoln, do you get like scholarship if you're part of like a varsity team, or you
Yeah,
don't?
there are some minor scholarships available,
Mm-hmm.
not compared to like bigger institutions that sometimes, like if you're a student athlete, you can get like a full ride scholarship.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
offer that, but what I can recommend is if you're interested in applying, or if you've been accepted and you're a skilled athlete, we can put you in touch with our athletics department or with the coaches of the teams and see what we can offer. There are like some benefits that are involved for sure.
True.
Yeah. So like I was saying, there's just so many different things you can do. We're a smaller institution, but we provide a ton of opportunities. So, it's more than just studying, right? You got to take a break. You want to
Yeah.
relax. You want to take
Also,
your.
like, I remember in Nova Scotia, people there like laid back,
Yeah.
like my friends in Nova Scotia, like after school, okay, let's go out. That's what we do.
Yeah.
You just don't like
Yeah.
study and then work, study and work. No, you also have to do something else while, outside
Yeah.
the
Yeah. It's
class.
important. I think you got to take some time for yourself to relax or to have fun. Take your mind off of the studies for a while can actually be helpful. So, yeah, for sure. We're definitely known in Nova Scotia as being pretty laid back, quite friendly. Um,
Yes.
and that's something I should have mentioned as well, because we are so multicultural here, but
Mm-mm.
and we're so, laid back and friendly, like you're going to fit in, you're going to feel like you belong. I feel like all of Canada is kind of like that, but particularly in Halifax, we're known as being very friendly. So
Yeah.
I don't think people typically have issues with fitting in and feeling welcome. And you'll find
Oh
people are
yeah.
really, really friendly. Even if you don't know them, even if you're just waiting for the bus or you're at the grocery store, it's definitely common for people to just chat with you. And
And
yeah,
they're
it's cool.
they're very helpful, especially when I first came to Canada. Like the people that I met first, like from Nova Scotia,
Yeah.
and I never had like like really like a bad experience from with my classmates. Like we're only like 25 in the class, like
Yeah.
only like 5 or 6 like international students. Like the rest are like from Nova Scotia, and it's just like a family.
Yeah.
Like after school, okay, let's hang out. And then, those people that I met in school, 2018, I'm still in touch with them. It's
Yeah,
like
for sure.
yeah, they're really
Yeah,
nice.
that's it.
No joke.
That's the same experience for me. Like I mentioned with the small classes, like you really get to know your classmates and you take all the same or many of the same classes together. So you end up spending so much time together and working on
Mm-mm.
projects and studying together. Yeah, you just make really strong friendships that definitely last. So that's pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool. I'll get into like what programs we offer in a sec, but just to get in more about the work integrated learning, which I mentioned at
Mm-mm.
the beginning. So all programs, regardless of what you choose, have an element of experiential learning. So that's either like an internship or a co-op or a practicum.
Yeah.
A lot of them are paid. And they can pay up to, so they pay at least 15 Canadian dollars an hour, but they can pay, sometimes like around 17 or 18 or 20 Canadian dollars an hour. And so that is, a decent amount of money to be making as a student. It definitely helps.
Mm-mm.
But more than that, it's the connections that you make to the local
Mm-mm.
business community, the references that you have from your managers or your coworkers. That's so important in Canada, like having good references to talk about what you can do and speak to your abilities is really important. Actually, when I got this job that I'm in now, I used one of my co-op managers as a reference, and she gave me a really great reference. And my manager was like, yeah, she gave you a fantastic reference. So he didn't say that was the reason that I got the job, but I think it definitely helped. So
Yes.
I'm really fortunate for that. And that's something that all students will have the opportunity to do and find those connections through work integrated learning. So definitely.
It was like for me, it was I would say like a culture shock, Lincoln, because in the Philippines, I don't know, Justin, like because I only work in the Philippines like 6 months, and then I flew to Dubai after. But I remember no one asked for a reference. I'm not sure if it's the same right now in the Philippines, but then when I came to Canada, it's a thing. Like you need to have a reference. So you don't want to burn bridges with your
Yeah.
co-op managers or with anyone that you work with, right?
Yeah.
While you're in Canada. And what I love about the co-op and internship, most of my friends and students, it's actually the first full-time job is from their co-op or the practicum.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it is very important in Canada to have references. It can often be the difference in choosing between two candidates for an employer, right? Like if you've got two people who have studied the same kind of thing, they have similar sort of work experience. Having a good reference can be the difference in giving it to one person or another. Or, honestly, sometimes you can have less experience, but you have better references and you might get the job. Because I think what Canadians think about when they're hiring someone, it's not only what experience the person has, but like, how are they going to fit in with the team? Are you going to get along? Are you going to be like a team player? Are you going to be positive? Are you going to show up on time? Little things like that. And that's what your references explain, right? It's not really something that you can just put on your resume. Someone else has to kind of vouch for you, we would say, or tell that to someone about you. So it is really important. So we're getting into our undergraduate programs now. All of these programs are available to international students. What I would love to point out is our professional studies programs. These programs are designed for students to enter the workforce right after graduating. They have a very high employability rate, and all of these programs have co-ops involved. So with the public relations program and the tourism and hospitality program, they are mandatory. You have to do the co-op. With business, it's optional, but like we just discussed, very wise to do it for all the reasons that we discussed. They're paid and you get a full year of work experience. So you do 3 co-op terms. So starting at the end of your second year of study, you do a co-op term, then you come back to the school and you study for a semester, and then you go back and you do another co-op term, and it alternates like that until you have a full year of work experience. It's so valuable.
Is the professional studies like a 1-year program or a 2-year program?
So those are 4-year programs. All of the programs that have that full year of work experience are 4-year programs. So yes, while they are a little bit longer, they have the best employment outcomes for sure because of that, work experience that you gain. Our diplomas and certificate programs on the right side are shorter. Yeah. So the diplomas are 2 years and certificates are 1 year. But I will caution for students that are interested in staying in Canada after they finish their studies, and applying for a postgraduate work permit. The Canadian government has just changed some of the rules for being eligible to apply for a postgraduate work permit. And it's our understanding that moving forward, that diplomas and certificates are probably not going to be eligible for students to apply for a post-graduation work permit. It's going to have to be if you're graduating from a 4-year bachelor's degree or a master's program.
Unless it's linked to a shortage,
Exactly.
right? Like
That's right.
job.
So in Nova Scotia,
Mm-mm.
one huge industry for us is tourism, because we
True.
are such a beautiful place. A lot of people are very interested in visiting. We get a lot of cruise ships that come in every summer.
Oh
Thousands.
yeah. Yes, I remember. Yeah.
It's really busy with all the tourists visiting. So there is a chance that tourism and hospitality diplomas may be
Yes.
eligible. We aren't sure yet. We're waiting for the government to clarify that. We
True.
should know soon. And I'll certainly update everyone once we know for sure. But for now, the safest option is to go for a bachelor's degree. Not only is it going to make you eligible for the post-graduation work permit, but it's going to set you up the best to actually find meaningful employment. So it's definitely the best way to go.
One question, Ningen. It caught my attention, the proficiency in French. Is it like a certificate?
Yeah, exactly.
That would be nice. Because, they're pushing people, like, they're getting a lot of, like, French speakers right now. That will be a great option, probably an addition as well, if you're thinking to immigrate, right?
Yeah, for sure. For those of you who might not know, Canada has 2 official languages, English and French. So if you are able to speak both languages, you definitely will have more employment opportunities, especially with government jobs, because they do require folks working in government usually to speak both languages, especially if you're working for the federal government. They're great positions. They pay well. They're very secure. You get a pension, etc. So, but knowing French is necessary, and you can do a minor in French as well. So if you're, for example, doing like a business degree or public relations, you can also do a minor in French. So that is an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a great addition to your program.
Yeah.
And right now, if you have like, I don't know, like CLB 4 in French, there's like an additional points, right?
Yeah.
So think about it, guys.
Yeah, I'll say too that with Mount Saint Vincent and just being in Nova Scotia right now, there's a strong labor market need for teachers. And so we do offer education programs. So you're definitely able to go through that process with us to become a teacher. But in particular, if you do know or speak French, or if you do the French undergraduate degree, and you finish with a GPA of 3.0, which is about a 75%, you're guaranteed acceptance into our education program. Because we're so desperate for French teachers who are able to teach in French. So that's another pathway to keep in mind. You can definitely study with us to become a teacher in English, but if you want to do it in French, it's like, we want you so bad. Like, we're going to make it as easy as possible for you, because we really, really need teachers, but we need French teachers even more.
And also, like, if you're going to study something, you want something that would add value to your portfolio, right?
For sure.
So whatever it's going to help you settle here, like, I would definitely recommend doing that.
A couple other ones that I'll mention that are great, that really apply to what we're looking for here in Eastern Canada. The Child and Youth Study Program is one that is great to lead to meaningful employment, because we're very high in need of early childhood educators as well. And that Child and Youth Study Program, it's a 4-year program, which is a little bit different because typically it's offered as a 2-year program.
Yeah.
Educator. The reason why ours is 4 is because it gives you a higher level certification. So that you're actually able to open your own business, your own childcare business, and work in like government policy making or like youth care centers. So there are more employment opportunities for you through a 4-year degree. It's also a great pathway into the education program. So again, if you're interested in being a teacher, how it works in Canada, to just explain very briefly, to become a teacher, you first need to do an undergraduate degree, and then you take a Bachelor of Education for another 2 years to become a teacher. So the Child and Youth Study bachelor's degree would be fantastic, especially if you're wanting to teach elementary education. It just is a great segue into that program. So that's a great one where, like I mentioned, we need teachers here in the province really badly.
Even in BC, like teachers, like elementary, like early childhood, like teachers overall, they're actually in demand, right?
Yep, sure. Another special shout out to the public relations program. Like I mentioned, that's what I studied. And I think that is just a great program, not only because I did it, but I realize, it gives you skills that you can apply to every industry. So I've got friends that I went to the program with, or did the program with, that are working in nonprofit organizations and government. And, it's really, they went on to law school. There's just so many job opportunities with it, because it teaches you strategic communication, public speaking, writing skills. Like, these things are used across all industries. So it's a really great program to just give you a very broad choice of what type of work you want to do.
I noticed that you have like a bachelor's, and you also have like the master's degree for PR as well.
Yeah. So I encourage, like, for students that enjoy writing or enjoy public speaking, or think it would be fun to like be a spokesperson for an organization, or be involved like with, maybe being the person that like does interviews for the news, or does something like what I'm doing now, like representing an organization and working with people to tell them about, what we do. If that's interesting to you, that's totally what the public relations program is about. And reach out to me. I'll show you, I'll give you my contact info at the end, and we can talk about it more. We can meet like a one-on-one or whatever, and just share more about that program, because it's really great. And like I said, it gives so many options for work after you finish. So I'll move on quickly to our admission requirements. I want to leave time for questions. I know that I'm running a little long here.
Yeah, that's the admission requirements for the undergraduate. We're still like gonna show the admission requirements for masters, right? Correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So really quickly, undergraduate admission requirements, we're looking at, if you're coming from high school, we're looking at your 5 top grade 12 courses, first language. So if it's not English, that's okay. It can be your native language, 65%, depending on which program, math or science, and then proof of English proficiency as well. I won't stay on this slide too much. If you have questions, or if you want more information later, certainly let us know, and we will be happy to assess you and determine.
Actually gonna drop like a link here, where if you have further question about the admission, I'll drop my link here so that you can connect with us. So we work with Apply Board together with Mount Saint Vincent. So I'll put it down here, but let's move on to the graduate programs.
Graduate programs. The reason why the ones on the right that say not open to international students is because they're only delivered part-time, and you can't have a study permit if you're only studying part-time. So the ones on the left are all the master's programs that we have available. You can see there's a lot of different education options.
You guys have a lot in education.
Yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, that's definitely one of our largest faculties is the education faculty. So a lot of
Mm-mm.
different options there. We won't get too in detail on them now. Definitely, again,
Mm-mm.
visit our website or speak with
Mm-mm.
myself or Apply Board, and we're happy to share more information about those programs. Uh,
Mm-mm.
here are the general kind of admission requirements. We look for an applicant to have a bachelor's degree with a 3.0 GPA minimum, which again is around 75%. Each program has different requirements, so you can scan the QR code, or again, if there's a program you're
Mm-mm.
interested in, I'm happy to share the specific admission requirements for that program.
Mm-hmm.
But these are the general things that we're looking for.
Yeah. So I do have questions now. So guys, if you have any questions, just drop it here. But can we go back to that slide, like the graduate students? Because most of my followers,
Yeah,
Lincoln, are they're mature students. They do have bachelor's degree already. So definitely they're
right.
looking at the graduate programs.
Yeah.
But with you, maybe guys take a screenshot of this so that you don't get confused, okay? Because you want to get something that is open to international students, right? I do
Yes.
have a question for the master's degree here. Are
Yeah.
they like 12 or 18, 16 months long, like duration? Usually,
Yeah.
are they 2-year program?
They are 2-year programs. Yes. All of the
Mm-mm.
master's programs are longer than 16 months, which I know is another rule that the Canadian government recently announced, that
Mm-mm.
spouses will not be eligible for an open work permit if their partner is attending a master's program that's less than 16 months. All of
Mm-hmm.
ours are longer than 16 months. So you would still be eligible to bring your partner with you, and they'd be eligible to have an open work permit.
Yeah. I do believe that we already tackled, education is for teachers. And I do have a lot of teachers right now, pretty sure. But then here and we already discussed public relations,
Yeah.
right? But how about the family studies and gerontology? Is that for nurses?
So yeah, I mean, it could be, because it
Mm-mm.
is for anyone who has a bachelor's degree in somewhat of a related subject, and absolutely nursing would be a related subject.
Mm.
And it is giving you a higher level set of study into the field of family studies and gerontology. So, it's a very significant topic in Nova Scotia as well, because we have an aging population. So
True.
definitely we're going to require people who have the knowledge in how to work
Mm.
with and how to best support people as they are entering those older, later years of their lives.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, that's a pretty significant program, I think, that has a
Mm.
lot of sort of relevancy to life here in Nova Scotia for sure.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, again, like if people are interested in any of these programs, please reach out to us and we will share a lot more information.
Mm-hmm.
I can not only the admission requirements, but what courses you'll take,
Yes.
can
Mm-mm.
introduce you to the departments who can speak
Mhm.
more on it.
Mm.
Just in an effort to kind of save time. Uh,
Mhm.
I won't go into too much detail, but yeah, lots of
So
education programs. Sorry, go ahead.
they can book like because like some universities they can book like an appointment, like virtual appointment
Yeah,
with the department where they can talk about the program
yeah,
itself, right?
sure. We'll definitely connect you
Yes.
with those who can answer all of your questions.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so no worries about that at all. We'd be
I
happy to.
think we do have questions here, but not a lot because we already like touch
Sure.
like all the important points.
Yeah.
But here we have based on the last measures for graduated students, how much percentage expected to reduce? Actually, I think it was like 10%,
Yeah.
like during the announcement, right?
Yeah.
But Yeah, that was the announcement. And then the master's degree will have the attestation as well, right?
Yes,
As
yes,
was
that's
announced.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you guys giving out attestation right now or not yet? Is it gonna be after
So
November 1st?
yeah, so October 1st will be when applications actually officially open.
Yeah.
So once that happens, we will be issuing the provincial attestation letters for undergraduate and graduate programs for students to be
Great.
able to use those to apply for their study permit. One thing I'm happy to mention is
Mm,
that the amount of so how it kind of worked is the provincial attestation letters we're each
mm-mm,
institution were given a certain amount, and that was to show how many students were allowed to accept, and we
mm-mm.
were given enough provincial attestation letters to continue to welcome as many international students as we always have, and in fact
Yes.
continue to grow a little bit, because
Mm-mm.
the reason why a lot of these rules have been put in place is because of some institutions have brought in way too many students, too many students that they can
True.
handle. You know, it wasn't fair to the students
Mm-mm.
to bring them when there wasn't housing available, or you
No.
know, when they didn't have the capacity to host them well. That's never been the case with us. There's always been room in our residences, like I mentioned. We have, you know, incredible support for all students, and so we were recognized for that by the government, and we were given an amount of you know, students that we were allowed to accept that
Mm-mm.
allow us just to keep doing what we're doing, because we're not
Yeah.
a bad actor.
Mm-mm.
You know, we recruit ethically. We want to make sure that students
Mm-mm.
are supported when they're here. So we're honestly not really that affected by the new rules
Mm-mm.
that much, because we are not limited.
Mm.
We're able to continue to welcome students
Yeah.
same as always. So
That's the thing. If you started it right? Because
yeah,
you're small and you keep it small.
exactly.
Now, like when they implement this new measures, you're not really like going
Yeah.
downhill.
No,
You
not at
know?
all. We're
Yeah.
we're pretty much business as usual for us. I mean, the
Mm-mm.
provincial attestation letter thing is really just an administrative thing.
Mm-mm.
It's not limiting us really. So it's an
Mm-mm.
extra step for the students. We understand as well, but
Mm.
yeah, like there's really no worries about not being able to
Mm.
accept students, because we have always you know, maintained how do I say growth, but moderate growth. You know, at what we can handle.
Yeah. It's like a
Never
slow growth,
exactly,
not like a rapid
yeah,
growth.
made sure that we had the resources for to support the students, and
True.
this is my final slide of the presentation.
Mm-mm.
I know everyone's very interested in this.
Tuition fee, of course.
Our tuition, it is the most affordable tuition in Nova Scotia.
Actually, yes,
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
it's certainly um, on par with a lot of like what colleges across Canada would charge. But you know, we are a
Mm-mm.
university. With that comes you know, a higher level of support, higher level
Mm-mm.
of opportunities for students. Um, yeah, like I mentioned, you have a bus pass included in your tuition, and there are a lot of scholarships that are available for students as well. So
Mm.
that is something to definitely keep in mind. We
Mm-mm.
give over $3 million a year in scholarships.
You guys have to use this because you know when I was in like NSCC, like my classmate, like, oh, I'm gonna apply to like the awards and stuff. I was like, oh, what is that? I don't have any idea at all that they're gonna get like $500. Like I did not utilize those things, and good thing you brought this up,
Yeah.
Lincoln.
Yeah,
Mm.
so there's automatic scholarships for students that are coming from high school with an 80%
Mm.
or higher average. You're guaranteed a scholarship. But there's graduate scholarships as well.
Mm.
In-course scholarships. So like if you're a really high achiever and you're doing really well in your courses at MSVU, you can earn scholarships for that. So there's definitely a lot of ways to earn money to reduce the cost of tuition. I think our scholarships are pretty generous. So keep that in mind, but note that if you're applying for an undergraduate program, you must have your application submitted by March 1st because that's when the scholarship eligibility ends. So you can apply to us after March 1st, but you wouldn't be eligible for scholarships.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. Graduate programs have different application deadlines, which if you're interested in a program, reach out to us and we'll share with you the deadline. And once you've applied, you're eligible for those scholarships too.
So going back to that tuition fee, usually the master's degree in, let's say, education, it's about like 20 to 30,000, like the whole program. Am I correct?
It would be
like
a bit
14,000.
less because the graduate tuition is based on 6 courses, and a lot of our programs require completion of 10 courses. So it'd be a little less than 2 years worth of tuition, if that makes sense. So like to give an estimate, you're probably looking at around like 25,000.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Like other universities, 50,000.
Yeah, I know it's crazy, and
Insane.
That's true.
we want to be accessible. We still offer a quality education at an affordable cost. Like, there's no reason why tuition has to be that expensive. I think a lot of institutions, again, there's been some bad actors out there that have really taken advantage of international students and just charged like crazy amounts of money. And, we realize that it's not cheap to study in Canada, but we at Mount Saint Vincent, we try to make it accessible and affordable. And so, yeah.
Okay. Just to end
to the end. So questions, if anybody has anything, this is my contact info. So please reach out if you have any questions in the future. Yeah.
I think we have like few more questions. So I think I skipped the other one, but I have a bachelor's in education and master's or organizational management. Oh, that's great. Like you can take, I don't know, like if I were you, I would definitely look into the education one because that's what they needed here, right? So they do have masters that focuses on education. And then if I have a law degree, would I be eligible for any of the listed master's programs? So just like what LinkedIn said, just reach out to us, and then there will be like we will recommend, right, which one would be more suitable for you. But I think you mentioned, Lincoln, like the PR communication, some of your classmates were like they're from with a law background. Am I correct?
Yeah, so like a lot of students would do the public relations program to then move on to law school. Yeah, but certainly like what we're looking for when it comes to applying to a master's program is, some of the education programs require a Bachelor of Education, but then others, for example, like the Master of Public Relations, that just requires a related bachelor's degree. There's a lot of things that can be related to public relations, right? Like business, any communications undergraduate degree. So we'll definitely work with you. Again, like reach out to us, let us know what your situation is, what you've studied in the past, and we'll definitely recommend to you program is suitable for you.
I'll be dropping the link here, so you can reach out here. And then there's another question. I'm interested in transitioning to teaching, though I have 15 years experience in human resource, which is why my master's is in business. So it really depends, right, Lincoln? Like when you want to get like a master's degree in education, they have to show that you have at least experience, especially in masters. So we'll have to look into your resume at least, and then I
Yeah.
will fill out the form. Okay, great. And then I didn't see you Quebec on your form. Is that typo? Oh, I didn't include Quebec because Quebec is a different animal. They have a different rule. Okay, but just select I'm not sure. I think Mama Lima is in Quebec right now. So just select Nova Scotia for now and then we'll talk. I'll reach out to you via email.
Great.
But I think we're good. Thank you
Awesome.
very much for
Thank you.
this
Great
great
session.
presentation, Lincoln. And again, guys, if you have further questions about the graduate programs, about the undergrad programs, and also like in general question about Nova Scotia, if you're scared to move there, you don't know what to expect, we do have mentors who are based in Nova Scotia, and personally I lived there before, so I can definitely like give you my insight if it's like like a best place for you. Sometimes it really depends, just like Lincoln said, Nova Scotia, it's a laid back kind of like lifestyle, but you still have you will still feel the city vibe. You're not like in an igloo igloo.
Oh, for sure.
You're not like disconnected to civilization, right?
Not at
But
all.
thank you, Lincoln, for everything, for the information that you shared tonight. It's already
Yeah. Thank you for
um
having me. This was wonderful, and thanks for
yes,
everyone for tuning in.
yes.
We hope to see you on campus someday.
Yeah. And then for those people who missed, like if you didn't like start this episode, like this session, I will have the recording of this session posted on my YouTube and also my Facebook. Okay. Thank you, Lincoln, and good night there.
Thanks, and have
Yeah,
a
and
good day,
goodbye
everybody.
everyone
Bye
from
bye.
the West Coast here in Canada. Bye bye, Justin.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Good night. Thank you very much.